Well, howdy, and welcome back once again to the Withlacoochee River Report. The report where you will be highly offended by my compelling rhetoric. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you that's just come out, and if you're watching this on April 1st, you'll get it. Lionel's new two-rail track. Yeah, we all know Lionel and their two-rail track. Maybe in S-gauge and maybe in HO. But I'm going to show you in this video how to make two-rail O-gauge track out of Lionel. Now you might be asking the reason, why would I do that? Well, the reason is simple. You don't find too much two-rail track around here. You can't get it at Dana's unless you special order it, and then you've got to put a bunch of money down. Ordering it these days is going to cost you a fortune. And, you know, especially in the shipping's almost going to cost you more than the track is. So, that is the reason that I have started on this. I'm planning on building two modular layouts, and the way that's going to work, one of them is going to be a three-rail layout, obviously. The other one, obviously, is going to be a two-rail layout. As you can see, I have my GP9 over there, and I've got a bunch of two-rail rolling stock. So, yeah, obviously, I'm going to want to run that, and maybe run it in shows and stuff. I don't have any Lionel switches, so I don't know if this same trick will work with switches or not, but it should work very well on all of their regular track. What it involves is basically removing the center third rail, the nubs that hold the rail straight in place, and you know, then you've got to paint over where the center line is to, you know, make sure you have all ties there. And it doesn't really look too bad. Then you come in, you weather it. And I'm going to show you in this video how that's all done. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is remove this crossover piece right here. Oh gosh, oh, there it is. Okay, you want to remove this little crossover piece here. That's a straight dead short on a two-rail, on a piece of two-rail track. It's having tracks kind of connected electrically there. I know it's fine on it, that's your neutral on three-rail O-gauge track, but first thing you want to do is work to remove that. You just take up the tabs, and this is on the outside rails, these tabs are, so you'll end up putting these tabs back down. Dang nation. I don't know how to work this camera. I need a decent camera is what I need. Can't afford one. Alrighty. You lift the tabs on that. And I guess I'm going to have to pull my blade out to get under that. Pull me a real blade out. Alrighty. Yeah, figures. Okay. Don't just love this stuff. You get these tabs standing straight up basically. That's really pretty simple to do. Just get the tabs standing up and start working it. Alright, we got the third tab up. And you're always going to have one that's going to be so flat in there, it ain't going to want to come up, of course. You know that, right? At least it's not going to want to come up with the flathead screwdriver. I guess you could take your angle grinder and get in there with it and cut that out, but it might be a little hard on the road bed. Alrighty. I'll tell you, I'm not having any. I'm having much misfortune with this sunlight out here today and making videos. Now my wife, she just spent like 3 months in rehabilitation after breaking her leg, and she's home now, so you'd think I'd have more time to be doing this, but no, we've just been out and about like normal. So good Lord. Gee, let me get a real pocket knife out and maybe I can do this. Always got to be one that's got to be a royal pain in the rear, you know what I'm saying? Oh, good grief. Come on. And what'd they do, weld that down? Lionel always does like to make your life harder, don't they? First, they don't make 2-rail track. Now we're back. Got it out finally. Now these 4 tabs you don't have to worry about, and you've only got one of those crossing over on a 30-inch piece of straight track, but on these 10-inch, each one of them will have it. So you want to get those off, and whether you put those tabs back down or not probably really doesn't matter, but I just put them back down anyway just to get them out of my way. And they can be a royal pain. I mean, you know, I can't see what I'm doing on the camera. Oh, now it doesn't want to go back down? Are you kidding me? It didn't want to come up a minute ago. There it goes. Okay, and there we have it. Now the next thing to do is to start pulling up the middle rail. That's a little more involved than you think. But you got to get in under these tabs and pull. Let's see, on these you have 2, 4, 6, 8 tabs to pull up on each 10-inch piece of track. If you're using a 30-inch or 30-inch straight track, you're going to have, let's see, 8, 16, 24 of them. Force your screwdriver or whatever under it. And just get them up. Okay, I can't see if you're seeing it or not. All right. The rail seems to be a little bit easier to work with on that center rail than it does on the now. You're wondering why I would go and spend a whole bunch of money on Lionel track. Well, first of all, I don't spend a whole bunch of money on it. I get it at like train shows and stuff. It's usually quite a bit cheaper there. And you can see that it comes basically right up out of off of the roadbed. And you're going to have a couple of pieces of metal here that came out from it. As you can see here, we've got these nibs. And these nibs, these little pits that stick up, that's what holds the hollow rail in place. So, what we do now is we take some nippers of some kind, some flush cut cutters, and we cut them off. These are some old rail nippers I've had since the 1970s. I don't know if you're seeing that on the camera or not. See, I don't have a real camera, I'm using a tablet. But you get down there as far as you can on it, and you nip it off. All the way up that one piece of track. And as you can see, you got that little bit of gray plastic in there, and what you're going to have to do. Now, if you're doing real long, like those long 30-inch sections, you'll probably sand that down a little bit. And it'll, of course, make marks into your ties as well. But you want to make sure it looks like the tie is going all the way across from one rail to the other. So, okay, and voila, you've got a piece of two-rail track there. And it's not bad looking even as it is. But once we get that all covered up, then you'll see where we're headed with it. Okay, well now I'm in the shade and I can actually see what's going on the camera now. As you can see, we've got to complete the ties right down the center line there. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. It's not a difficult task. You just get yourself some nice brown paint. What I got here is some brown oxide. I got mine at Walmart. I think it was like 58 cents. Works fine. You want to be sure and get the matte color. Their cheaper paints seem to work very well. That is, if you can get it to squeeze out of the bottle. Alrighty, there we go. Alright. And what we want to do is we want to get this brown right across. Not a hard thing to do, just get it. You don't have to be neat about it. It doesn't have to come up perfect, because once it's weathered, you know what you're not going to notice? And you just do that on all day. My 30-inch pieces you saw just a little bit ago, I've already done those. So I'll see you when I get back from getting this all done, so you don't have to sit there and watch. Here we are back again. I didn't force you to watch me paint all the centers of the ties. Like I said, it doesn't have to be neat. It doesn't look neat now. But what we're going to do now, and see, I've already done this on the 30-inch pieces. You take some masking tape. Run it down the line of your, next to your track here, on the ties. On the inside. Yeah, you can run a little bit. I've got a little bit more of this wider stuff. That's why I'm pulling that out for the outside. This stuff, believe it or not, is a little too wide for the inside of the rails. So now you're asking, why is it? Okay, so we're getting it done. All right, I can check the camera and see if you're getting that or not. And yes, there is various reasons why we're doing it this way. You want to make sure your masking stays on there, of course. Ah! Not very difficult to do for the most part. I guess I'm going to actually have to go and purchase me some masking tape, because I don't have any regular cleanup after painters anymore. Because I was getting tons of masking tape for free, sometimes whole rolls of it. But I guess I've used up more than I realized. Now, if you wanted to do, you can paint this utilizing your normal, ordinary, everyday airbrush. Might even be able to do it without masking off. Me, I don't really have much in the way of airbrushes. I have a couple. They're such a pain in the butt to set up. The painter's tape there is rather easy to work with. It doesn't have a whole lot of tackiness to it. I believe that's not the color I used on the ties the last time either. I think I used probably burnt umber. Oh well, it's the way life goes sometimes. and we'll cover it up somehow. I plan on running, you know, oil splatter down the middle of the track. So it'll probably be covered up pretty well. As you can see, it doesn't take much time on these 10-inch pieces to mask up. Oh boy, I'll tell you, this last week, you know, dealing with the fact that my wife got out of rehabilitation, and, well, thank God she was able to get into the truck. We've always had a way for her to get in and out of the truck. That's never been an issue. But I'll tell you, having to pick that wheelchair up and lift it into the back of the truck, all of a sudden, I guess about Thursday, we started getting a bunch of rain. And I woke up that morning and my neck was just as stiff as it could be. I was in a lot of pain. I only worked 2 days last week, Monday and Wednesday. And, oh, it was, oh. But she spent about 3 months in rehab with a bunch of PTs sitting there telling her, oh, you'll never get in that truck again. Well, when they released her, she got in that truck, and she got in that truck like she always had. But they, you know, they kept trying to convince me, you need to go trade that in on a nice Mercedes. I don't think so. I want something dependable, you know, like a Chevrolet. Mercedes, they just ain't dependable. Oh, I know they used to be many years ago, but they're not dependable now. Wonder if Joe Biden took over a Mercedes or something. You can depend on him to gaff it up. Ah, figures. Ah, very first piece of tape I messed up. Okay, that figures. Okay. Now, what's the reason? The sole purpose for me masking off the rest of it is so that I don't get heavy paint down the middle of the track or down on the roadbed or anything like that, because I'm not looking to heavily paint that. What I'm looking to do is get that a nice dark color, and as you can see, I'm just using Rust-Oleum. Let me get this stuff out of the way. And now you can look at those rail heads real good. You can see that it's obviously used track. If you look underneath, you'd see that there's paint and paint splotches and stuff. It's obviously used track, which is all right. All right. You see how well that's going. Okay. Now, we will take and start bringing in some of the weathering effects on that rail by itself. And the reason that I do that, it gives it that kind of a rusty, dark metal color, which is what I'm looking for. Yeah. And you just kind of mist it in. Don't spray it hard and heavy or you're gonna have orange track. This is a walnut color, by the way. I believe it's it's warm caramel. And let's give it a few minutes to dry up, because the heavy paint work is now done. And it's gonna take it a couple of minutes to dry, so I will be back. Well, we're back. All right. I'm getting a nice collection of used up masking tape over here. Okay, it put a nice old rusty dark metal look to the paint, which is what I was looking for, or to the rail, which is what I was looking for. Like I said, I'm just doing these 4 little 10-inch pieces today. I hope that the next time you see these on video, they'll actually be on a module. So now we're going to add a little bit of weathering to the rest of it. And again, like I said before, what you want to do, you don't want to put it on heavy. You want to mist this paint on. You know, kind of like that. And it's okay if you get some heavy spots. Now let's go in with a little bit of the warm caramel look. And as you can see, the track's beginning to come out now. It's beginning to look like it's supposed to look. Now, we're going to have to get on there. We're going to have to get them railheads clean, aren't we? Well, that's not all that difficult to do. Just use regular paint thinner. It works well. If you happen to have lacquer thinner or enamel thinner, those will work as well. Get you some paper towel or some other towels or something of that nature, and there it all goes, of course. Get a little bit on the towel and just go along the railhead. And it does, it takes it off. Now, of course, like I said, these rails are obviously, this track is obviously used track, so it doesn't always come up shiny. But you'd be able to see the rails. Okay, and there our track is done. Well, done enough at the moment. There's other things I got to do to it to weather it. That will be brought in later. Okay. I think I was going to leave you without any rail action today. Of course not. As you can see, the 2-rail track works fine. Until you get back to about there. It's not kicking ass now, is it? Okay. I probably have some paint splotches or something on the connections, and of course I'm not going to depend on those connections. To run my trains. Not on this track anyway. But as you can see, it runs pretty darn good. Now you're asking the reason why I would go and spend the money to buy Lionel track. First of all, I can find Lionel track at just about any train show. Straights, curves, sometimes even 072 curves. And the advantage there is I can find it a whole lot cheaper than I can in the hobby shop. Sometimes it's $2 or $3 for a 10-foot section of straight. Sometimes it's $5, but either way, it's cheaper than buying it at the hobby shop. I can also, you know, now, like I said, I haven't tried any, I don't have any Lionel switches. But the chances are good that someday I might, and I might be able to. It's nice to give that GP9 some exercise for a change, isn't it? And I do have a lot of 2-rail rolling stock that, while it will work on the 3-rail track, I still, you know, have a thing for 2-rail track or 2-rail trains. So even though I like my 3-rail stuff, like I said, the plan is Right now I'm going to build me a loop, and the way this is going to work on this loop, you'll have a 30-inch section of straight track and a 10-inch section of straight track on each module. The modules are going to be 40 inches long. Everything's going to butt together. They're going to be made, one of the primary structures of the modules is going to be, of course, pink foam or blue foam or whatever foam I can get my hands on. 1x2s and what's it called? Luan plywood. The track will probably be anchored with Luan plywood, but Luan plywood will also be used for the fascias and the end caps of each module. Oh my goodness. Too many blood thinners. Don't know what I did there, but I sliced myself on something. Anyway, as you can see, this is what I've been up to lately, and hopefully I'll be producing. I've got plenty of materials to start modules with. I'm going to build the first 4 modules, and then I'm going to go into the curved modules. I imagine that the curved, the 072 track that I have, will work the same way that this does, and we'll be able to do what it is I need to do. So, until next time, I'm going to wish you happy railroading and a happy Easter. It is Easter Sunday while I'm putting this on tape, and I'm just going to enjoy running my engine back and forth here for a little bit. It's tempting to pull out some more train stuff, but probably not a real good idea at this point. Like I said, I'll be running of course I'll be powering each module up specifically with its own power feeds, and it won't be too difficult to do. That's the best. You know what? I can't even hand lay my track that well. So it does not look bad pulling the center rail off of Lionel track and making it work for you. Like I said, and even if you do find 2-rail track at a train show, they're going to want so much money for it that you won't be able to afford it either way. Now, if you're well-to-do and you have plenty of money, well, go on down, buy yourself some. Go on, get online and pay the shipping for it. If you're good at hand laying track, by all means, please hand lay your track. I love the looks of hand laid track. And, I do plan on putting a couple of structures, including a bridge or 2 on this layout. So, and that's one of the things that you may want to see. You see it comes off good and straight with the off the 10-inch pieces. It does not come off good and straight on the 30-inch pieces. That's going to bend on you. I'm just saying it's a little bit more economical way to put 2-rail trains in your life here. So until next time, happy railroading.